In the suffocating silence of a small town, Ajay found himself entangled in the story of an elderly man named Vishnu Charan. Just months into retirement, Vishnu had recently celebrated his youngest daughter's wedding with the meager savings he had earned over a lifetime of labor. Yet beneath the facade of contentment, a profound loneliness began to seep into the crevices of his heart. The weight of his solitude pressed down on him, heavier than the years spent caring for his daughters, alone after his wife's untimely departure. Memories of laughter and joy had been replaced by the haunting echoes of an empty house. To combat this loneliness, Vishnu made a decision that would change everything. He would rent out the first floor of his home. On that fateful day, Vishnu stood conversing with a neighbor, his voice tinged with the bittersweet taste of nostalgia. Yes, yes, what does half a small spoon do? He chuckled, attempting to mask the loneliness with humor. He's an engineer, you know, working in a government office. They say those jobs are stable. Maybe that's a good thing, he mused, his thoughts trailing off into memories of his daughters, now married and far away. A sigh escaped him as he admitted, I feel much lighter now, but this emptiness. The conversation slipped into silence, an uncomfortable reminder of his wife's absence. He had always worried whether he could raise his daughters alone, worried if he could provide for them. Now, with the last of his parental responsibilities behind him, the silence felt deafening. Then the doorbell shattered the stillness. Vishnu's heart raced as he opened the door to a visitor. Yes, I'm looking for a house to rent, came the voice of Chand Rao, a man whose presence seemed to cast an eerie shadow over the threshold. Vishnu's instincts twitched. Are you alone? He asked, his voice faltering as unease pooled in his stomach. Just me, Chand replied, an unsettling smile playing on his lips. I promise I won't be a bother. I work long hours at the office. But Vishnu's mind raced with caution. I only rent to families, he insisted, a chill creeping into his words. Something about Chand unsettled him, like a figure in a foggy dream that felt just beyond reach. Chand's eyes flickered, a hint of frustration clouding his expression. What's the issue? I need a place to stay, he pressed, his demeanor shifting. Is there some kind of infection? You don't want me in your house. I'm just looking for a roof over my head. Vishnu's heart thudded loudly in his chest. He could feel the walls of his once safe haven closing in, the air thick with an unspoken dread. You can go, he stated firmly, but his voice trembled ever so slightly. As Chand turned to leave, a chilling realization gripped Vishnu. He was not just battling loneliness, but perhaps something far more sinister lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. The house felt colder, the silence more oppressive as he closed the door, sealing himself inside a prison of his own making. The emptiness that had once been a comfort now loomed like a specter in the dark, whispering that he might not be as alone as he thought. The world outside continued its mundane rhythm, but within Vishnu's heart, a storm began to brew, one that would not be easily quelled. The night grew darker, and as he glanced out the window, he couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows were watching him, waiting for the moment when the true horror would reveal itself. Music fades in, a haunting melody that sends shivers down the spine. In the heart of Raipur, the shadows of the school loom, casting an eerie presence over the neighborhood. A conversation unfolds, a seemingly innocent inquiry, yet beneath the surface lurks an unsettling tension. Do you stay close to that school? A voice asks, the words laced with an unsettling curiosity. The reply is quick, almost too eager. Yes, I live nearby. But why the urgency to leave the small confines of that familiar space? It's too cramped, the response comes, tinged with an unspoken fear. Very well, the other voice concedes, but with a chilling command. You will host your friends for a party, blaring music that pierces the night. I detest such noise. And remember, the rent must be paid promptly. There can be no slip-ups. A pause lingers, thick with dread. And don't forget, our meeting with Interpol is nearing. Increase the rent. A shiver runs through the air, as the atmosphere thickens with unspoken threats and veiled intentions. Music swells ominously. Is this room available? A question hangs in the air, its implications heavy. Is it in the bathroom, or are you asking me something else? Comes the response, too casual for comfort. The agent demands R4,000, with the electricity bill on top of that. What's the hold-up? A voice breaks in, sharp and impatient. AJ has arrived, another one answers. a hint of annoyance creeping into the words. "Can I store my belongings, Carly?" The question is innocent, yet shrouded in an underlying current of trepidation. "No, not tomorrow. Come back in 2 days. I must prepare the green paste first." Kaylee replies, her tone dismissive, as if hiding something sinister. "Fine," comes the reluctant agreement, but deep inside a sense of foreboding lingers. Music shifts, a low rumble of tension. "What happened in the meantime?" One voice inquires, a gnawing anxiety in every syllable. "After a day or two, that girl will take all her things away." Another voice murmurs, a hint of dread coloring the statement. "She was delayed in bringing her belongings." The officer had his own matters to attend to, a dark agenda that looms ever closer. A chilling thought surfaces. It's fortunate our parents reside in this realm, still tethered to reality. They work tirelessly, a facade of normalcy, yet always ready to vanish into the shadows when duty calls. A sudden realization dawns. "Oh, I forgot to mention something yesterday." "What is it?" The other voice probes, curiosity laced with concern. "I'm employed at a send-off job." The response reveals a dark twist in the narrative. "Sometimes I'm forced to work the night shifts." Music swells, a crescendo of unease. "If circumstances allow, do you work in the mornings?" The question lingers, heavy with unspoken implications. "Yes, I work. I'm in the IT sector now," comes the reply, triumphant yet hollow. But as the sun dips below the horizon, the shadows grow longer, and a suffocating dread envelops the air. In this world, where the mundane brushes against the macabre, every choice echoes with consequences, and every whisper hides a secret waiting to be unearthed. The music fades out, leaving a chilling silence that hangs heavy, a promise of what's to come. In the dim light of a fading evening, Vishnuji found himself lost in a haze of worry, a gnawing sensation creeping into his thoughts like a shadow at dusk. It was peculiar, this young girl laboring with her hands, her toil echoing in the silence of the house. Each stroke of her work seemed to evoke a question that lingered in the air. Was she hiding something beneath her humble exterior? As days melted into nights, a subtle transformation unfurled between them, a bond growing stronger than mere acquaintance. Vishnuji began to see her not just as a worker, but as a daughter, a beacon of hope amid the encroaching darkness of his solitude. Her name, though unspoken, became a melody in his heart, resonating with warmth and affection. Every day, the fragrant aroma of her cooking wafted through the house, a tantalizing reminder of her presence. She would always set aside a portion of her meals for him, a simple act that filled the hollow spaces of his existence. Yet as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the room, the inevitable moment arrived, a farewell. "I'll be visiting my parents for a few days," she said, her voice a gentle breeze that stirred the atmosphere. "I'll leave tonight and catch the train in the morning. I'll call you when I get home, okay?" "Okay," he replied, the word hanging heavily between them, tinged with unspoken concern. As the door creaked shut behind her, an unbearable silence enveloped the house, swallowing the warmth whole. Vishnuji felt an emptiness settle in, an abyss where her laughter and chatter once resided. Days turned into an eternity, and though it had only been 2 nights since her departure, the space felt like a cavernous void. In a flicker of determination, he reached for the phone, dialing Chutki's number, seeking solace in the familiar voice. "How are you today, Chutki?" he asked, his tone an echo of longing. "I'm fine. How are you?" she replied, her voice like a distant lighthouse guiding him through the storm. "Yes, I'm okay. Everything's fine, right?" he pressed, desperately holding on to normalcy. "Yes, everything's all right." "What are you doing?" "I was watching TV," he admitted, the words tasting sour on his tongue as he thought of the girl who had brightened his days. "The girl has gone to meet her parents," he shared, his heart heavy with the truth. "The house feels a bit empty." And as they spoke, a chilling realization settled in. This emptiness was not just a physical absence, but a haunting reminder of the darkness lurking just beyond the veil of familiarity. The walls, once alive with laughter, now echoed with a disquieting silence, hinting at the shadows that stirred in the corners, waiting for the unsuspecting to let their guard down. In that moment, Vishnuji sensed that perhaps the girl's departure was more than just a visit. It was a prelude to something far more sinister, something that had been silently stalking the edges of his reality. And as night descended, the house grew colder, the air thick with a palpable unease that whispered of horrors yet to unfold. In a quaint little town, whispers of innocence floated through the air, embodied in the form of a seemingly sweet girl. But beneath that facade lay a chilling enigma, a darkness lurking just out of sight, waiting to unravel. "When is she coming here?" A voice echoed, tinged with both anticipation and dread. "Hello, hello," came the repeated greeting, a hollow sound that reverberated through the silence, unnerving those who heard it. What happened? The question hung heavy in the air, thick with an unspoken tension. "Do it!" The command was sharp, slicing through the atmosphere like a knife. But confusion reigned. What happened? The question was repeated, a desperate plea for clarity. To Shravan, a name that carried a sense of foreboding, as if it were a warning. "Loot it." The words dripped with malice, echoing ominously as shadows danced around them. The flickering light cast unsettling shapes on the walls, distorting reality. "In this video, the light is bad and it has not happened." "Is the light broken?" A voice questioned, anxiety creeping into their tone. "Yes, it has happened." The reply was chilling, a cryptic confirmation that something was indeed amiss. Then a sudden shift, a presence. "Hey, who is that? Who is standing there?" The air turned electric, a sense of dread suffocating. A figure loomed in the distance, shrouded in shadows, wearing anime glasses that glinted ominously in the dim light. Their face remained obscured, an unsettling veil of anonymity that heightened the tension. As the eerie music swelled, the atmosphere thickened with suspense. "Friends," the narrator's voice trembled. "What fate awaits an elderly soul like Vishnuji? What dark connection ties him to the girl enveloped in this mystery? She who exists in the shadows, who was hidden away, now beckons us to uncover the truth." A shiver ran through the audience, a collective breath held in fear as they awaited the next revelation. "But we will know all this in part 2, the narrator continued, their tone laced with foreboding, leaving the viewers teetering on the edge of terror. "Friends," they urged, "if this glimpse into the abyss has stirred something within you, like our video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press that bell icon. Only then will you be the first to witness the horrors that lie ahead."